Well, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has held the 26th Youth League elective conference a great success. He commended delegates for finally ensuring the conference sits after an 8-year hiatus. He's further urged the Youth League to unite and prioritise the work ahead.
It has been indeed a long and arduous journey where we are closing a successful Congress of the ANC Youth League. It has taken many teams and interim committees and task teams that have moved forwards and backwards to get to this point. And the resilience and perseverance and dedication of many young people has brought us here.
All right, let's discuss this now with political analyst Professor Sandile Swana. Joins me to, of course, delve into the ANC Youth League elective conference, but also looking at ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa giving the closing address. And Prof, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you. The ANC President deeming this elective conference a success and further urging the Youth League to prioritise the work ahead. But why did it have to take 8 years to see the 26th ANC Youth League elective conference?
Well, from my point of view, good morning to you, Tumel, and your viewers. From my point of view, I would say the very people that dissolved the leadership of the Youth League must be also held accountable for making sure that in the past 8 years, the conference does not take place and that the elections don't occur, because had they prioritized that, it would have been attended to and the election would have taken place. So to me, the interest by the elders of the ANC to manipulate the Youth League or to render it irrelevant was also pertinent to why it was delayed from taking place.
Why so? Why was it important for the mother body to almost sabotage the Youth League?
The Youth League has had two problems that I can think of. The one problem was that they became quite powerful in determining who becomes the leaders of the ANC. Number two, who stays in office and who is removed from office. For instance, the likes of Malema would tell you that they were instrumental in getting Thabo Mbeki to be removed from office. So if you would have wanted to have a comfortable presidency, one of the things that you would have wanted to do is to neutralize the youth. Secondly, the same Youth League started to challenge in a number of ways important policies of the ANC. And there was a conflict then between the Youth League leaders and the National Executive Committee of the ANC, and especially between, including Ramaphosa and Zuma. Let's put it like that.
Right. Prof, do you think this elective conference was any different? If any of the concerns raised by the delegates are anything to go by, one wonders if that character and that, almost consistent behavior by the mother body could be trickling in or have trickled in this past weekend. There were concerns raised around processes not being duly followed, leading to elective conference. There were complaints around interferences, political interferences by the ANC SG Fikile Mbalula. Would you say that it seems like, the popular behavior and character of the mother body also showed its true colors this past weekend?
The personalities that were the authors of chaos in the ANC from around 2005 right up to the Polokwane conference are still active in the ANC. Fikile Mbalula is one of them. Fikile Mbalula, by questionable means, if you want to put it that way, assisted Malema to ascend to power under a contested leadership conference. So those tendencies are still there. The tendencies of not knowing who is the legitimate representative of each branch so that credentials can be adopted speedily. Although they told us that people had registered back at home in their regions before coming here, But when they get here, there's still uncertainty as to who should be here and who should not be here. And they take a bigger part of the conference to do that. The same thing happened in the ANC conference, main conference, to the point that somebody, I believe, went in and stole the tags of the Free State. And in this case, they stormed, I think it was the Eastern Cape registration and so on and so forth. So those tendencies are there. And Balula and company, although they were the authors of chaos in the ANC from the start, today they are contending with this chaos that is refusing to die.
So what does then the ANC president mean when he says the conference was a success? If it's been mirrored by some of these, problems and issues and concerns that they haven't been ironed out, yet we hear the ANC president Cyril Ramaphosa speak about the responsibility of the Youth League to, revive the Youth League, speaking of renewal, but it seems nothing has renewed or changed from, some of the old faces that seem to reappear in as far as Youth League matters are concerned. How was this conference a success?
This conference, from Cyril Ramaphosa's point of view, was a success in the sense that they, as the top leadership of the ANC, had promised that the conference would take place. Now, the conference has taken place. As to the quality of the conference, that's another matter. But they promised the conference and the conference has taken place. Number two, they've promised the election of a new executive of the Youth League. That has been achieved. Now, as to whether this is the Youth League leadership that should be taking the youth of South Africa and the youth of the ANC to the destination that will make them competitive worldwide, or will continue on the path of mediocrity that was started in Polokwane and has continued up until now, it's another question altogether.
You took the question right out of my mouth. I mean, when we look at the names, President Colin Malachi, Deputy President Phumzile Mgcina, Secretary General Mtuoxolo Ngundle, First Deputy SG Tsakani Shvidi, Second Deputy SG Prof Olga Siate, and Treasurer General Zwelo Masilela. These are, the top six leaders entrusted to, of course, sway in the youth vote strategically for the 2024 general elections. But interestingly, it's not just the top six leadership that was elected, Prof. You would have seen that it seems the NEC has also sort of bloated its number from 30 to 46. I just wonder if that too would be effective in terms of not only obviously managing the affairs of the Youth League, but swaying in the youth vote.
Yes, the problem that is lacking in the ANC itself and in the ANC Youth League is the question of quality. Often you hear people, when they talk about leaders of the ANC Youth League especially, they compare them to Anton Lembede. Anton Lembede was a major intellectual, a major academic, to the point that he had completed BA, LLB, and a Master of Arts, and died as a young man, very young man, when he was doing his PhD. So the current, and he was the first president of that Youth League, as I recall. But this current president has not yet completed a 3-year diploma at university. He doesn't have, there's no record that I've seen that. And a lot of the top six, if you want to call them that, the top executive, when you Google them and you try to look for their biographies and CVs and qualifications on the internet, there's nothing concrete that you are able to do. So they cannot say that they are on the same level as Anton Lembede and Nelson Mandela. So the ANC and the ANC Youth League has not chosen the cream of the crop, either within South Africa or within the ANC Youth League itself. The pattern of perhaps even sidelining the most talented South Africans from positions of political leadership appears to be continuing for now.
Prof, before I let you go, you mentioned quite an interesting figure in, one of the youth leaders there. And I just wonder if Julius Malema hasn't also been placed as almost a de facto national youth leader, and whether this new crop of ANC Youth League leaders will be able to take him on. I mean, not only in addressing the 7 cardinal pillars of the ANC, but also the land issue and also the economic freedom in our lifetime tagline that seems to be inherited by, generations of Youth League leaders?
Pound for pound, if you take the leadership of the EFF and the leadership of the Youth League of the ANC, intellectually, academically, and so on, there is no match. It would be like taking a youngster who is in grade 1, making him to compete with a child who's in standard 10 or grade 12. So there is no comparison between these two whatsoever.
We leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Political analyst, Professor Sandile Swana, thank you so much for joining me right here on Newslink. This is at the back of the ANC Youth League elective conference this past weekend. We'll, of course, continue.